This is this will be our final town hall meeting prior to next week's elections. So I just wanted to remind everyone, sorry, to get out and vote next week, May 7th, and we're all voting down at the church and in our ward, anyways. And I just wanted to encourage everyone to get out there and vote, and hopefully it's a really good day for us. We've gone to about every door in the ward. We have a little over 100 doors to hit next, and so we've done the legwork. We'll be finishing up all those doors this week, leading up to the election on May 7th, and it's just imperative that if you're planning on voting and you're planning on voting for us, that you get out there on May 7th. And so we definitely appreciate your support and your vote. As I'm going around the district, around the ward, and talking to people, the things that are really important on people's minds is really the prioritization of our spending here in Shelby. Whether you agree with certain aspects of what we're doing, what we're agreeing with the levies that were passed, the common thread seems to be that people feel left out of the prioritization of our spending here in Shelby. And that's one of the key issues, obviously, in my campaign is one, the community, the common sense conservatism, and also the communication. And I think this is an area that brings in all three of those, to be honest with you. And that is, being able to communicate effectively. Another thing that's come up as I've been going door to door and listening to folks is the rezoning or the changing of the zoning of some properties on Mansfield Avenue. Some people were very upset about the way that the city has handled it, the way that it's just been handled in general. And I know for a fact that the city had followed its protocols. But what I've been telling people is, listen, I'm not going to harp on, who our current city councilman is. That's not what this campaign's about. But I will tell you what, how I would have handled the situation. And what I would have done when I would have got a zoning request like that is I would have commenced a town hall, either virtually or physically, probably most likely for something of this magnitude physically, and I would have got input before I would even submitted it. And it's just a matter of communicating effectively with your constituents. And I want to emphasize that. That's why the first plank of my campaign is communication. That's why I've been doing these virtual town halls. That's why I've been going door to door to meet every single one of you. Whether you registered to vote or not, knocking on your door and letting you know about my campaign. Why? Because I feel very strongly about the communication aspect. And I want you to understand, and I promise you, that if you trust me with your vote on May 7th, I will keep the communication open. And together, we're going to come up with some really good solutions to a lot of the problems and the tough, difficult situations that face Shelby today. And we have a wide variety of issues. We've touched on them before, whether it's the streets, whether it's the fire station, whether it's the power plant, any of these issues that we've talked about, either on this or as I've been going to your door. The key ingredient is there are going to be difficulties, but together we can face those, and together we're going to come up with the solutions to solve these problems. There are not necessarily easy solutions, but there are solutions, and the communication is a key aspect of it. And I guarantee you that if you trust me with your vote on May 7th and again in November, this will not be the first time and the only time that I come and knock on your door. And this won't be the first and only time that I engage you as the citizens of Shelby. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And let me go over here to the social stream. And as always, on the right-hand side of the social stream, you'll see the social stream there. You can type in questions there, and that's how you can ask questions on this. And we always give it a few minutes, see if anybody logs on, and we'll talk about some issues while we wait and see if anyone's going to log in and ask some questions. As always, this whole thing will be available on YouTube. There are commercials that do cut in occasionally from time to time. If you do hit a commercial and you wanted to hear that input, you can always go to the YouTube video and re-download it and re-look at what you missed. Apologize that's just the cost of it being a free program, and it's quite hefty to pay for the producer package. So bear with us on that. But we do make it accessible on our website as well. Our website is nathanjmartin.com/campaign. And our Facebook page is facebook.com/NathanJMartin25. And of course, you can reach me at Twitter, Nathan Martin. Definitely appreciate the support of you guys. All right. While we're waiting on that, so I'm just going to go over some of the questions I've gotten, and I've gotten a variety of questions and a variety of really good questions as I've been going outdoor to door. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of the highlights. And this is one of them. I get asked, are you married and do you have kids? I've got asked that many times. It's obviously something that's very important to you folks, and it's very important to me as well. As you see there, my beautiful wife Mandy of almost 11 years now, and our five kids there, from oldest to youngest. It's Madeline, Emma, Caroline, Elijah, and Ansley. They are 10, 8, 6, 4, and Ansley is almost 2. She turns 2 in June as well, so she has a birthday coming up here in just a few. And it's I say this not just to tout my own horn, although I'm very proud of my family. I say this because this is one of the principal reasons why I'm running, is because I want to make sure that Shelby is maintained as a good and great place to not just live, but to raise kids. And the reason being is that I hope that my kids decide to stick around. I hope that my kids want to plant their roots in this community as well. And that's something that means a lot to me. And I know from talking to you folks out there that it means a lot to you as well. One of the things that you've probably seen around are our yard signs. And here's what they look like. And you've seen them around. If you would like a yard sign put in your yard, it's not too late. You can either request that through the Facebook page, or you can email me at nathanmartin4shelby@gmail.com. Again, that's nathanmartin4shelby@gmail.com. And just send me an email, and we'll make sure that we get a yard sign put out there. And we definitely appreciate your support as far as that goes. All right. So this, check in here, see, we don't have any questions yet. So that's just some of the basic questions I've been getting on the campaign. I have been asked about my military service. I put it in my flyers and let people know I am in the National Guard. I am not a technician, and I'm not in a full-timer, and therefore there is no impeding me serving on the city council. Even if I was a full-timer, I would be able to serve because it's a nonpartisan race. But I know that's weighing on people's minds, exactly how much time you're going to have to give us. I do 1 weekend a month, and I do 2 weeks annual training every year. And so obviously if there is a council meeting that is during my annual training, I would be forced to miss that. But you're looking at one occurrence possibly a year. And so I don't feel that would impede my ability to serve. In fact, I think that I'm very proud of my military service. I'm very proud of the support role that I took in Iraq when I was deployed in 04-05, and I think that gives me just some problem-solving skills, and that also gives me some project management skills that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So I'm very proud of that, and I think that I can bring that level of experience to City Council as well. Checking over here. All right. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of that, and I'm continue to serve, and as far as that goes. Some people have asked on the campaign trail, what is your occupation? What do you do? I am a consultant by trade, and mostly I'm a political consultant, although predominantly I consult nonprofits. Whether it's 501c3s, 501c4s on certain activities, usually grassroots activities. For example, the group I'm contracting with right now, I'm helping them go out and register veterans to vote. You'd be amazed at how many veterans aren't registered to vote. You'd be amazed at how many people in our community aren't registered to vote. And so it's important to me, and so I'm glad that I'm able to contract and be able to do that. I also do some project management as well. And again, I think those are skills that lend itself to being a good city councilman. So. As you probably hear, my daughter just let Hershey in my office. That would be my dog. So he's panning around here, but hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. All right. All right, we're going to speak for probably go over a few more questions, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And if there's nobody else who has questions specifically for me. I will talk a little bit about the excuse me, trying to cue things up here. All right, we'll talk a little bit about the fire department. Obviously, I've been pretty outspoken. I think we need a new fire department and all that. One of the concerns that was presented to me by citizens, like, man, we're just taxed up the gills. We're just taxed too much. And one thing I promised him is, I said I understand that completely. And one thing I promised him, and I've promised others similar to him, is that we have a lot of ability and capability to try to make this as low a tax burden as possible. Whether it's through possible grants, whether it's through some fundraising campaigns within the community, whether it's repurposing the old structure to some local businessmen or others. There's some options that are out there for us, and so that's one thing that is near and dear to my heart. But I understand the taxpayer burden, and there's one thing I can most definitively promise. I am never going to ask the taxpayers for more money unless every stone has been unturned at City Hall for those funds. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that funds are being misappropriated at City Hall or anything. So please don't get that impression. What I am saying is that, you know, we have to prioritize effectively, and we need to stop, as public servants, we need to stop putting the taxpayer on the hook for our lack of ability to prioritize. And so that's one thing that's very important to me, and I think we need to prioritize, and we're going to have to prioritize, because we have, you know, whether it's the fire department, whether it's our roads, you know, these things do cost money, and the taxpayers have made it abundantly clear through their vote over and over, they're not willing to foot the bill for a lot of these things. And so we have to come up with an effective plan as a city council and to do these things without constantly having to kick the can down the road to our taxpayers. And so that's a very important issue to him. All right. Looking here and to see, it looks like we have some more viewers. And if you have any questions, again, go over to the social stream and ask the questions there. And we'll go ahead and answer them as we can. All right. Take a little bit for the, there's a little bit of a delay. I know you guys don't care. But, so I'm trying to let it catch up here to see if there are any more questions before I go on to the next item. One thing we've talked about consistently over the campaign is a need for local autonomy. And what I mean by that is that the citizens of Shelby are a very independent folk. We don't like Richland County dictating stuff to us. You know, I think a lot of people often in the Mansfield area forget that Shelby is actually a part of Richland County sometimes. And I know that's a concern, and that's something that's been voiced to me over and over. But we also don't like being bullied by the state. We don't like being bullied by the federal government. We want to be able to come up with decent policies within our city limits that affect our citizens and implement those. And we're good at that. We're going to be great at it. And we can govern ourselves. There's really a call for self-governance here. And that's one common theme that I've seen going door to door. And so that's one common thing, and that's one thing I feel very strongly about. If there's ways for us to maintain our autonomy here in the city of Shelby without having to constantly rely on bureaucrats somewhere else to do the things that we can do, then we need to look at those options, we need to take them seriously, and we need to have those be a part of our city culture and our culture as a community. If you have any questions, you can ask them over on the right-hand side, and we'll get to those just momentarily. If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up a little bit here and basically just recap the campaign. The three structures of my campaign, the 3 points of my campaign, of my platform have been communication, community, and common sense conservatism. I want to go over those again and explain those to you one last time, and humbly ask for your vote on May 7th in those planks. One is communication. As elected officials, we have to do a better job of communicating with our constituents and outreaching our hand and letting them know your input is not only wanted, it's needed, it's necessary for the governance here in Shelby. Whether that's doing town halls on a regular basis, whether that's continuing to do these virtual town halls and, you know, put these on YouTube so people understand what's going on at the city level and how their councilman is going to react. You know, whether it's, going out and knocking on doors and meeting with people, knocking on doors and saying, you know what, there's going to be a rezoning here, or we're going to have a street project here. How does that affect you? And what can we do to best facilitate this? Whether it's a water project, whether it's a street project. How can we best help you? That's, to me, the job of good constituent services. Something that's sorely lacking and something that we desperately need. Another thing is a sense of community. Again, the people of Shelby are strong and independent folk, but at the same time, we have a strong sense of community. We enjoy coming together, whether it's for bicycle days or trick-or-treating on the boulevard, or these events that bring us together, whether it's the parades, Memorial Day parade, 4th of July parade, the Halloween parade, the Labor Day parade, these different activities. We enjoy that sense. And that's one of the reasons why, unless you were born here and you were raised here your whole entire life, that's one, for us who came out of the city, that's one thing that really drew us in, is we have this big town attitude, but this small town feel. And that's something that we just can't lose, and that's something we need our elected officials to constantly remember and to constantly foster. At the same time, we need to bring and engage new businesses and bring new opportunities here to the city of Shelby, so that when our kids graduate high school and once they graduate college, that they come back and they continue the legacy here in the community. And that's very, very important to me. And the last thing is common sense conservatism. And basically, I touched on it before, but it's just a matter of prioritization. Prioritizing the things that need prioritized. We need better infrastructure. We need better roads. We need a fire station. And we need to engage these things by prioritizing. And so it's imperative that we have somebody who's willing to do that and willing to engage in that. And I am. And I always remember that it's the taxpayers who are footing the bill for this. It's not city council's money. It's not the city of Shelby's money. It's your money. That by virtue of you living here, or working here, you've entrusted us with those funds. And it's imperative that we spend it wisely, that we prioritize, and we communicate with you on how we're going to do that. And we always keep these goals in mind, that we need to communicate effectively, we need to build and prosper our community, but at the same time, we have to have common sense approaches to these different projects to ensure that it is indeed spending the taxpayers' money wisely. Because it is just that, the taxpayers' money. It doesn't belong, if I'm elected, it doesn't belong to me. I'm not the one partaking of this slush fund in the sky that I can just appropriate however I see fit. It's the taxpayers' money. And it needs to be prioritized effectively. And we need to stop constantly trying to kick the can down the road to the taxpayers time after time after time until we wear them down and they vote in our levy. It's up to us to prioritize. And it's up to us to build that trust and that communication with you guys. Well, I see that there are no questions. And so I'm just going to wrap it up here the last few minutes and say that we need you to get out there and vote on May 7th. It's going to be a tight race. It's going to be a close race. And it's been a great race. And it's been an honorable race. I appreciate my opponents. Everyone in this race has talked about their record and what they want to do for the city of Shelby instead of lambasting others and what they have or have not done. And I applaud that. And I just hope that you take the three things I've talked about, whether it's communication, whether it's community, or whether it's just bringing a common sense approach to our city government. I hope you realize that I'm sincere in this, that I hope to earn your trust, and I hope to earn your vote. And if you give me both, I won't take it lightly, and I will never, ever take it for granted. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much for those who are supportive, and I hope that those who are skeptical will keep on engaging. And I hope to earn your trust and your vote eventually as well. Thank you, and please vote Nathan Martin on May 7th. God bless.